My lords, the first submission is, my lords, we represent a political party, which, my lords, in fact, the political party for a change is on the side of the petitioners, challenging the scheme, the electoral scheme or the secret bond, as we call it from our side. Now, my lords, the issue here is, as a political party which espouses the cause of Dalits and other marginalized people, my lords, this scheme is such a way it's structured that it has a desperate and a more severe effect on us than other political parties. So that way, my lords, there is a very hostile discrimination as far as our parties are concerned, which expose the cause of these marginalized sections for two reasons. And this court has held, my lord, this is what precisely has to be avoided in any scheme or in any law.
Yes.
Whereas the first point is, if your lordship see, my lords, clause 3.3 of the scheme, if I may call it as clause 3.3 or rule 3.3 of the scheme, there is a cap of 1% of the electorate. It says, my lords, only the political parties registered under section 29A of the Representation of People Act and secured not less than 1% of the votes polled in the last general election to the House of the People or the Legislative Assembly, as the case may be, shall be eligible to receive the bond. My lords, the point here is, when you make a discrimination between 1% and the other 99%, there is absolutely no rational nexus.
Because a political party should have polled at least 1% of the votes in the election. Tomorrow you may have a 2% party and claim donations.
Well, this is our case. There is a barrier to entry. And nascent political parties, my lords, in a free and fair election, the receipt of political donations cannot be cut. My lords, for example, I start a political party.
You can receive donations, but you can't have electoral bonds coming.
That's precisely my lord, that is where I stand at a disadvantages. When people don't come out, my lords, to give monies to political parties on the basis of their ideology, people will definitely not come to me, my lords, on the basis of my ideology, because they want to be anonymous. The very purpose of what the state says today is anonymity is given for the purpose of protecting the people who give these bonds. And when that anonymity is taken away, my lords, my point is that it affects me directly. That same anonymity would apply to me.
Because, even other political parties, it's not that, only a political party like yours espouses the cause of the marginalized section.
Not really.
There would be mainstream political parties which equally espouse the cause of the marginalized groups because they depend upon them as their constituents.
My lords, we are next. The point is, my lords, that where anonymity is given to all political parties, I should be given the same anonymity in the sense that I am also a political party registered under the Representation of People Act. Why not 5%? Why not 10%? There is absolutely no empirical data to suggest why you have protected under 1%. The whole point is, my lords, when anonymity is given to all political parties under a statutory enactment.
But then you also have threshold requirements for allotment of an election symbol.
It should be supported by data, my lords. There's absolutely no data. For example, it's 0.99%.
That you made your point. What's the next point now?
That's one point. My lords, the second issue, my lords, is that if your lordship may kindly see the issuing at Rule 3.6, my lords. Rule 3.6. The bond shall be issued to the buyer on a refundable basis.
There's no Rule 3.6. I know para 3.6.
My lords, it's sorry, my lords, 8.2, my lords. I'm sorry. Yes, no, it is 6.66, my lords. It's 6.6.
No, there is no 6.6. You may be referring to 7.6.
It is 7.6.
Volume
yes,
4, page 119.
Yes, my lord, 7.6. The bond shall be issued to the buyer on a non-refundable basis. These are irrevocable bonds. Right. So even by mistake, the whole point is read with 10. 10 talks about issuing officers and commission payable. No commission, brokerage or any other charges for issue of the bond shall be payable by the buyer against purchaser of the bond. Now, this is taxpayers' money. For example, my lords, if myself or anybody else here wants to buy even a demand draft or a promise or anything else, my lords, there is a charge which is borne by the customer. Here, the customer bears the charges of a note which is being given actually free of cost.
Not
So,
the
my lords,
best point.
these
You know,
are-
I don't think we need to labor on these points.
These are all, my lords, things which have been tightened
These
to
lie
ensure
in the
to
realm of
facilitate.
policy. These lie in the realm of policy. These are not the best points. I mean,
My
let's
lords,
not.
your lordship may kindly see, my
We are
lords.
missing the wood for the trees
My
by
lords, if your
focusing.
lordship may kindly see the at page 1115, my lords, volume 4.
Substantive arguments have
Triple-
been made.
1115, my lords, your
Let's
lordship
not
may kindly
dilute the
see.
impact of those arguments by going into these.
My lord, 1113, my lords, your lordship may kindly see 1113. 1113 for disparate impact. 1113, volume 4. My lords, here your lordship, under 182, it is the corporate boards which take a decision. And as well as we are concerned, my lords, the empirical data suggests that we control only 3% of the boards in India. That is in respect of 1,000 top companies which are registered in the stock exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, as well as the National Stock Exchange, where the market capitalization is 1/4. The Dalits and the other marginalized have only 3%.
We are not belittling your grievance. But your grievance is a wider systemic grievance, which is not particularly related to electoral bond.
My lords,
So your grievance really has to be in the form of another petition, which challenges broader aspects of our election law, which have a disparate impact on parties espousing the cause of the marginalized. But by really conflating that grievance with the challenge to the electoral bond, we are really losing sight of the specific challenge in relation to the electoral bonds. You may want to come forth with a petition, a broader petition challenging those provisions of the election law, which may have possibly a disparate impact on parties, say, espousing the cause of the Bahujan parties. We're not at all belittling that, but we're just trying to say that let's not lose the focus of this challenge.
This aggravates the inequalities, my lords. My point is,
All right.
schemes after schemes like this. My lords, today, my lords, my position is, if I am a nascent party.
We don't want to say in this petition, assuming that the others are right, that you have not made out your cause, because that may lead to your cause in that sense being impacted by us ruling on this in a petition where, we don't have the sufficient data. We
Then
don't
your lordship may kindly
have
see.
the overview of our election law. So you are raising a point relating to the marginalized groups, but please keep your powder dry for a substantive challenge in a separate petition. That's what we are trying to just sort of without advising you. But,
I
you
follow.
don't want to lose the impact of what you are saying in a more specific challenge. This is a very niche challenge in that sense. Very important challenge, but a niche challenge.